Hey guys, it's Marissa from Grow in the Flow, and I'm coming on here to tap into the May energies, pull some cards to see what we're looking at for the month of May as a collective. I came on earlier onto Instagram to talk about some spiritual breadcrumbs that were popping up this morning for me about this energy of April showers bringing May flowers and the way that that is coming in as a cleansing for us. The cleanse card is the newest member of my Nature Speaks affirmation cards that I have been working on with using my own personal nature photography and bringing in messages to put together a deck. And so I have here a little prototype of the cleanse card that I shared earlier that came alive in the month of April. And so kind of having that as the foundation to the messages that have been coming up for me this morning, I wanted to come in and pull some cards for the collective, just kind of tap into the energies, because it really feels like the month of April specifically has been serving for the collective to really cleanse and clear away things that were no longer serving. And that's coming in the form of many different things. In many cases, I'm seeing it as the endings of relationships, friendships. In some cases, it's ways of being, patterns, behaviors we may have been having that weren't serving us. Could be jobs, things that have been cleansed or cleared away that we're now going to begin to see in the month of May have really been about cleansing what I'm calling our spiritual soil, really getting us to a place where we can bloom and blossom by clearing away things that in some cases were difficult to let go of, that we may still be working to let go of, or, it may have been abrupt or sudden, as in like a sudden downpour that came in from seemingly out of nowhere, and really kind of putting into perspective, what purpose those things were serving to cleanse or clear from our lives. And I was saying how, in a practical way, it was kind of showing up for me like we're having a pollen explosion where I am, and it's just everywhere and on everything, and simultaneously both of the cars that we have here at our house were running low on washer fluid. And it's like you get in the car and you just can't see. You're looking through the windshield and it's just a mess. And in some cases, birds flew overhead. And I literally drove around for a couple of days waiting for my husband to get windshield wiper fluid with like massive bird mess all over my windshield, like, waiting for it to rain so that I could use that to clear it away. And so today, when the pollen is so bad, it was just like that refreshing ability to cleanse and clear the window, to have clarity and the ability to see. And I mentioned this morning that the song The Rain by Missy Elliott came on, and it was just like, okay, yeah, that's an oldie, so if you don't know that one, but I was like, ooh, I haven't heard this one in a while. And it really was hitting home for me, because there's these lyrics that are like, the rain is coming against my window, I can't stand the rain. And it's kind of this idea of like, I can't stand the rain. We don't want it to rain. We want it to be nice and sunny and mild temperatures. And it's kind of like, why is it raining? But it's showing that necessary component of the rain, and why it is something that, for ourselves, whether it's on a physical level, mental, spiritually, that cleansing and clearing is necessary. And that there is a way to look at it as, so it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And really thinking about what has been getting cleansed from your life this last month. And what is that gearing up for you to, what flowers are blooming in your life coming up in the month of May. So we're going to do a little collective reading. I'll pull some cards while I chat here. Wanted to bring in the Water Elemental Spray by Amanda Ellis. This is one of my favorites. It's so fresh and clean. It has spearmint in it. And it really just does bring this clarity and clear energy that comes about. And I just realized I match. Really feeling this today, just the element of water and its cleansing and clearing properties, and just getting clarity. So let's pull a couple cards. I'm going to use, again, the Everyday Enchantment Tarot by Palin. And I just really enjoyed this one. I used the last month or so, and check out and see what comes up for the month of May. So I'll shuffle and then put the camera down and we'll take a look. So I'm going to ask first for a card for the overarching energies. This is again for the collective. So like all collective readings, some parts will resonate perhaps more than others. You take what resonates, you can leave the rest. That's how it works with a collective reading. The best way to get real specific guidance for yourself is to have a personal reading. And down below, I do have the link to information on all of my readings. I have a mix of recorded readings as well as written, emailed readings, which I'm actually highlighting right now, the empowerment pack that I'm offering. And what that's going to be is, it's going to be 3 readings that you get throughout the month of May that highlight an overarching energy for the month of May, beginning, middle, and end, specific for you. Then we have the new moon and we have the full moon. So throughout the month of May, you'd be receiving 3 detailed readings that also have photographs of your altar elements, color, crystal energies that have come in to support your reading, as well as the ability to ask as many one-card questions you'd like throughout the month. So if you're looking to find out what's up for this weekend, what's happening this week, anything specific, you just shoot me a message and I can pull a card for you and give you a quick reading on that as well. So there'll be information below about that, but just wanted to let everyone know that I'm booking those now so that I can get your May reading out to you, at the beginning of the month, this next week, so that you have that guidance and insight for the month ahead. So let's see, we need to pull a card now for the beginning of May for the collective energies. These cards are really big, so I kind of shuffle them awkwardly. Beginning, card for the middle, and a card for the end. So, that's 3 cards that came up. Sometimes if it's 2, I'll take 2, but let me just see what wants to come up again for the end of May energies. There we go. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to put the camera down. We'll take a look, see what came up, and chat some more. Thanks. Okay, so we've got all our cards put down here, which I will show you in a moment. We got some interesting cards, so I did pick some clarifiers to go with. So let me show you first the cleanse card up close and give you the channeled message that came through for me with this card. So this is the card that I'm calling cleanse, and the message is to allow the soil of your spirit to be cleansed in the knowledge that the rainy days, struggles, and challenges that inevitably come along on every path always bring the lessons and blessings needed for true growth and greater prosperity. With each passing shower, be mindful that it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. So that's the message of the cleanse card, which we will sort of have overseeing this reading, because you'll see there's some interesting cards that have come up here. I'm going to spray the water elemental again, just to bring in that clarity, cleansing, and clearing energies. So I had pulled the overarching energies for the month of May, along with beginning of the month, middle of the month, and end of the month. So as we can see here, there's a lot going on, so I decided to pull clarifying cards for each of those positions. So we'll get into all that. I want to show you first the card that has come up for the overarching energies of May. We have the 2 of coins, the 2 of pentacles. And that's always showing some aspect of balance, an aspect of choice going on here, a juggling of 2 things, a balancing out of 2 things, keeping that firm, secure footing, remaining grounded, while still sort of having a lot of plates in the air, a lot of things going on, spinning here, which we have a waiter who, of course, is in high demand from a lot of different customers, but he's offering up 2 different dishes here. He has this one that is filled with fresh fruit, and one that has what the book describes as like a sticky pudding, an unhealthy option, let's say that. So he's kind of offering up these 2 different choices that we have to look to. What are we going to order? Here's what's on the menu. What are we going to choose from? And so in this month of May, I think it is carrying through this energy of cleanse, as far as like what is being cleansed from your life. What do you have the option to choose, and what are you going to leave on the table? What are you consuming? What are you ingesting? What are you taking in? I talked about this in the month of April as well, about whether something was alkaline or acidic for your spirit, just like a physical diet of, wanting to consume more food and beverages that are alkaline versus acidic, also this opportunity for us to consider what our spiritual diet consists of, what we're bringing into our lives energetically. So I think the month of May continues to offer this opportunity to really use our discernment, to really evaluate, take a look at the menu and decide what are we going to order and what are we going to leave on the table. So I think that's actually perfect for an overarching energy of really anchoring in to navigating. And like in the traditional Two of Pentacles card, you see that the person is standing on a beach juggling two pentacles in like a figure eight, while behind them is these choppy waters. There's a ship that's kind of, flailing around in the water. So it's presumably that there could be, again, tumultuous times, energies that, are very emotional. There's a lot churning up in the water, and yet you're keeping firm footing, you're grounded, you're balancing, you're juggling many things. And that, of course, can be on just a physical level. The month of May is notoriously very busy for people, whether it's, sports and activities for young people, for families. Also, there's a lot of parties and gatherings and things going on the calendar, a lot of invitations to things, a lot of things opening up. There's just a lot happening that you may be feeling like you have a lot of plates spinning in the air, a lot to juggle, a lot of people vying for you. So that overarching energy is, of course, there as well. So let's take a look at the beginning of the month of May. The card that came up was the Nine of Blades, or the Nine of Swords. And of course, this is notoriously the card of being on that hamster wheel of perseverating thoughts, your mind spinning, inability to sleep. It can be like a nightmare energy of just kind of regurgitating and recycling thoughts. It's very much in the head. The swords are all about your thoughts, the mind, very cerebral, very much about perhaps overthinking, overanalyzing things. And it's just beautifully depicted here because you can see that she's really in a state where, just unable to sleep, watching the hours tick by, trying different things to get some rest, and yet seems to be eluding them. And so in the beginning of the month, again, it can feel like, and whatever it is that is cleansing from your life, and you're still in that process, still trying to navigate through that. So there can definitely be some replaying of things, interactions with others, sort of, going back over things in your mind, shoulda, woulda, couldas, perhaps you weren't able to say what you wanted to say or have closure in a situation that has been cleansed from your life. That energy is certainly still prevalent in the beginning of the month of May. When I asked for a clarifying card, I got another card that this is the Knight of Blades, Knight of Swords, which the way it's depicted here speaks a lot about the personality of an individual around you. Or again, this feels like something that has needed to be cut from your life. It doesn't have to be a person. Again, it's the energy of a situation, a circumstance, something that needs to be cut from your life, that needed to be cut from your life. And understanding that, this person, this situation, it wasn't serving you any longer. And like with this cute little dog over here, I feel like a disloyalty, with the dog over here, a loyal companion, a loyal friend. This energy is not, and the Knight of Blades, the personality is described as really being sort of like a steamroller, just pushing their views and their points and their things on you to the point of excess, of thinking that, not seeing things from any other perspective but their own, cutting through harshly. So again, something that had taken place for you that is really bringing through this harsher energy that's not serving you. Again, this is really reinforcing the choice to cut that from your life and understanding why that was necessary. And that with that, bringing that together into focus is really going to help to get yourself off this hamster wheel, and there's certainly practices you can do with that as well. And I think one of the things that's coming up is, journaling, writing things out, if it's about, things that you didn't get to say, feelings you didn't get to express, or conversations that weren't had, sometimes it can help to just literally talk it out yourself, or type an email, even if you're not sending it, or write a letter, or write in a journal, or something to get your feelings and thoughts out. Breathing exercises, perhaps a guided meditation, and there's so many online that you can find that can really help you to quiet your mind. And turn off all of the talking heads so that you are able to get some clarity and focus. So there could be something there for some people as well. I think that as we get into the middle of the month, here we have the Four of Cups. And I think this card is actually really perfect for what I've been saying about the cleansing energy, because this depiction is talking about a person who is sort of distracted by looking off in a direction. There could be some boredom, some apathy, some feeling of like forlornness, or self-defeating, kind of like what's the point, and sort of in their own little world with their headphones on here. But what this card points out is, they're sort of focused on these 3 cups down here, which presumably contain, again, unhealthy options, soda and coffee. Not that coffee's unhealthy, because I do love me some coffee, but the caffeine, the things that this person is offering them fresh water. Again, the energy of water, cleansing, clearing. So here is this clarity being offered, but they're not seeing it. And so, this can have to do with the after effects of what has played out, this situation, things that are being cleansed for you, have kind of left you feeling a little bit disillusioned over here. And so perhaps you're sort of blocking out things. There could be something that you're not seeing that's being offered to you. So how can you redirect your focus and move your view over to something that is healthy and hydrating and clarifying for you? So this really does seem to reiterate that. The other thing I see here is this is a heron, a blue heron, which to me represents patience. And then we have the squirrel over here, which to me represents abundance. So I feel like, again, this is bringing in the energy of having patience, divine timing, allowing things to unfold, and trusting that there is great abundance all around you even now. What resources do you have that maybe you're not seeing? What things are available to you that perhaps you're missing? Kind of just checking in with yourself and seeing, is there another vantage point that I could look at this situation, this circumstance, and see things with greater clarity? What is being cleansed from my life? What is no longer serving me that I've been ingesting, that I've been partaking in, that I want to redirect my focus from? And so I kind of feel like the clarifying card that came up is the Emperor. We had his energy when we talked about Aries season, and in the month of April, the Emperor came up, and he came up in this way of really being thoughtful and deliberate and calculating and considering decisions and moves in a way that was sure to be successful. And the way that he's depicted here with the ruler, he's been measuring things out, examining things. And here's this bird up here that's soaring. And you also see the bird on his camera, on his phone screen. So it's almost like, was he photographing that bird? Which to me, it's showing me looking at things from a higher perspective, from a higher vantage point, from a different place. So, just look at the difference in the energy of these two individuals. If this is what was in your stratosphere before, if this was what was happening around you energetically, you have been invited to allow that to move out and bring in this energy. And that this is the one that's going to be lasting, because the Emperor doesn't do anything that he doesn't know is going to be successful. Not so much warm and fuzzy, although I find this guy, he looks very inviting. He kind of reminds me of like a father figure. But much more strategic and matter of fact and unemotional, able to make decisions from that place. And he certainly looks very grounded and clear. And look how clean that window is. So again, that clarity, looking through the window, seeing things from this higher perspective, the middle of the month of May, I think can start to bring that into focus. Choose to partake of this water, hydrate, cleanse, clear, so that things can become feeling more stable, secure, and having greater clarity for you. Now, as I mentioned, how busy the month of May is, typically. Have you made time for yourself? Have you been able to, divvy up tasks and distribute things to others, ask for help? Because the 10 of Wands for the end of the month is kind of showing like this overloaded, just trying to take on too many things at once by yourself and having some of that feeling of overwhelm. It shows here like a moth to a bulb, like a moth to a flame. Do we have a pattern or a tendency to overbook ourselves, to overcommit, to, have FOMO where we don't want to miss out on anything. We don't want to turn down any invitations, that we have an opportunity to really be a little more discerning. People are calling, people are texting, people are reaching out. They want of our time, our energy. And, we have to be, we're being reminded to be more discerning about how we divvy that out, making sure that we carve some time for ourselves. The 10 of Wands really asks, do you need to lug all of that stuff with you? How is it serving you? And I always think of the 10 of Wands too, as far as like packing bags, going on a trip. What are you lugging with you? Only so much can fit in the bag, being discerning about how we're packing, to really enjoy the next part of our journey, with as much grace and ease as we can. So when I ask for a clarifying card, I get the Major Arcana card, Judgment. This can have to do with things coming to light, suddenly having, an epiphany here where things are being shown for, what they are, a message coming through, calling people forward to really, again, close the door on things that are no longer serving you. And she looks ready. She's looking back over her shoulder. She sees this old way of being. Again, perhaps individuals, people of relationships and circumstances that you were a part of, things that you're having this opportunity to cleanse from. But also, habits, patterns, behaviors, things that were toxic, things that were acidic, things that were not nourishing you, were not nourishing your spirit. She's ready to walk away from that now. The door is open. She sees that there is light on the other side. And this little rabbit here is also showing me the fertility, the new beginnings, the opportunity to step into the new. So, again, we get to see this contrast of if this was the old way of being, excess, too much, taking on, stuff that was not serving us, that was not leaving us feeling nourished and energized and, like we were using our energy in ways that were beneficial for us and for others, that this new way is being shown. And this is perfect because here are the Mayflowers. Here they come. We talked about April showers bring May flowers. So the rain, the storms, the unsettling things that have come about, that have been playing out in your life, and also for the collective, have served a purpose to bring to light, to wash away, to cleanse, to clear, in order to bring forward these beautiful blooms. And this is Archangel Gabriel traditionally in the traditional tarot, and Archangel Gabriel is, of course, the messenger. But another thing that I love about Gabriel is bringing through guidance for your soul purpose and what work it is that you're doing in the world, guidance for you, and so bringing through clarity on that front as well. So to whatever extent, these things were kind of causing a fogginess or an inability to see clearly, following the guidance that's coming through on having this cleanse, taking these steps is really going to bring about that clarity for you as well. So it's also showing sort of the arrival of an aha moment or clarity on purpose, something that you are being pulled to do, that you are being enthusiastically encouraged to explore, to cross over and leave behind this lower vibrational, more dense energy that's just not serving you anymore. So I actually think that turns out to be really beautiful. I mean, it was, sometimes it can be intimidating to see certain images and things that are coming up, but hey, we're being real honest with ourselves. We're taking a look because we want lasting change. We want to really do it this time. So, we're having to look at the shadow. We're having to look at those aspects of ourselves or others or situations that perhaps, we were kind of numbing out. We were kind of blocking out. We didn't want to take a look at. We were sort of, putting on our headphones and, la, 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 I don't see you there, kind of a thing. But this is going to bring in the true clarity and nourishment that is needed. And when I did the Instagram video earlier, I just had chosen one oracle card from the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Linn, and this is the card that came up, the Action card. And again, as I mentioned in that video, feeling that water energy and kind of bringing us back to, like I said, the traditional Two of Pentacles, the overarching energy of the month of May that's coming up in our collective reading. Traditional cards showing choppy water, showing things in the distance, getting bearings, really balancing out. And so we have ebb and we have flow. And so when we are able to work with the tides and to be in flow, to allow the ocean to carry out and away whatever energies are no longer serving, or times that have passed, to be gently carried away and allow the new to wash in, is when we start to really see that definitive action that the Emperor offers in the middle of May, to really start. So of course, beginning of May, we're sort of coming through the April energies. We're working through anything that was churned up at that time, what we're working through, getting some guidance on how we can best do that, bringing in that cleansing energy. And then we move into the middle of the month where we have an opportunity to accept that offer of help and bring in that clarity so that we can take definitive action. But we do that with discernment. We're not going to overload ourselves, overcommit ourselves, and fall into old patterns simply because they're attractive, simply because they're things that we're used to doing. It's easier to do those things because they're comfortable, they're familiar, they're known. We're going to kind of turn our back on that. We can glance back over our shoulder and kind of say, thank you for serving your purpose, because I see that it didn't happen to me, it happened for me. Had this situation, had this person, had this behavior of mine not been about, I may not have gotten this message. This message may not have come through as clearly and beautifully as it is now, had I not had those experiences. And for that, I say thank you. So I think that's pretty much some good stuff we got going on for the month of May. That feels pretty hopeful. And as I continue to tune into it, I'll put up a blog post with some additional thoughts and things that came through today to kind of pull it all together. But again, like I said, as a collective reading, take what resonates with you, leave the rest. If you're interested in having a personal reading, which is the best way to tap in things that are specific to your circumstances, if there are certain areas that you want to look into to get some clarity on, if you have questions, I would love to help you out with that. Again, information below on my Empowered Tarot readings, and then of course the new Empowerment Pack, which is going to have you lined up for the month of May with consistent guidance and insight coming through, where you can ask questions as you go, to really help you have the month of May bring forward those beautiful blooms. So I want to say to you, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I would love to see if you enjoyed the video, please like it, comment below, check me out on Instagram. I thank you so much for joining me, and have a fabulous month of May. Take care.